In the African American community, the church has been the cornerstone of the civil rights movement. Now, a faceless form of oppression is plaguing our community. According to the Center for Disease Control, African Americans account for almost half of all people living with HIV.
All the way in the back.
Although black teens represent only 15% of U.S. teenagers, they account for 68% of new HIV diagnoses among teens. HIV is the leading cause of death for African American men ages 35 through 44. 1 in 16 African American men will be diagnosed with HIV. HIV is the third leading cause of death among African American women ages 25 through 44. 1 in 30 African American women will be diagnosed with HIV. In 2008, an estimated 18,000 African Americans received an AIDS diagnosis. African American men who have sex with men represent 63% of new infections among all black men. African Americans account for 45% of all new HIV infections, and 25% of African Americans that are infected do not know that they are infected. Why is this disease devastating the African American community? Why aren't more African Americans getting tested? Like in the civil rights movement, the church and the African American community needs to lead in the fight against HIV and AIDS. It is important that faith-based communities take a stand against the stigma of having HIV and stop the discrimination of those in our community who are living with the disease. Our people are hurting one another because of stigma.
I'm Dr. Gina M. Stewart, Senior Pastor of the Christ Missionary Baptist Church in Memphis, Tennessee. The church can play a pivotal role in helping to erase the stigma associated with HIV and AIDS. You know, the church was called into existence to reach out and touch the lives of those who have been impacted, affected, and infected with HIV and AIDS. Touch their lives with transforming love. So join the fight. Get tested. Get educated. Be an advocate. And most of all, stand against stigma.
So, what are you going to do to stand against the discrimination and stigma of HIV?